Hey y'all, it's Lachi, back with another episode of Big Dis Glossary, serving up joyful nuggets of my big old disabled rebellion. It's Black History Month. And yes, Black folks out here making history every month and should be celebrated every month. But today, we're going to be celebrating Black disabled history. Some of these names you may know, some of these names you absolutely should know. So grab a pen, open up a notes app, whatever. Professor Lachi has entered the chat and class is officially in session. Let's go. Let's start with Brad Lomax. Brad Lomax was a Black disabled activist, a member of the Black Panther Party, and a key architect of the 504 sit-in of 1977. If you want the full story, check out my book or Crip Camp, because this part of history does not get enough airtime. So for context, the 504 sit-in was the sit-in that led to the Americans with Disabilities Act that we have today. Brad and the Panthers brought in food and supplies to the protesters, which is kind of an important thing when you're occupying a federal building for 26 days. You know what I mean? Like, for example, there were 9 other protests happening at the same time for the same cause, and they all only lasted 1 day, because when you have a building full of disabled protesters who need oxygen, who need all sorts of stuff, well, you ain't gonna last too long without food and supplies. However, this particular sit-in in San Francisco made it happen because they had the food and the supplies they needed. Brad also laid the foundation for a Black independent living movement, but history tends to center his white counterparts instead. So let me be clear. I call Brad Lomax the godfather of disability rights. And you should too. No Brad Lomax, no Panther support. No Panther support, no food and supplies. No food and supplies, no successful 504 sit-in. No 504, no ADA. So essentially, it was a Black man that brought all of the disability entitlements that we have today. So yes, godfather, and say it with respect. Next up, Tom Wiggins. Tom Wiggins was a Black blind musical prodigy born into slavery in the 1800s. By adulthood, he was the highest paid pianist of the 19th century in the world. Not the highest paid Black pianist, not the highest paid blind pianist, but the highest paid pianist. And yet his life was defined by exploitation. White handlers controlling his career and cash while profiting off of his genius. You can deep dive with me all about Brad and Tom in our digital PBS series, Renegades. But class is still in session, so let's keep going and name some more winners. We got Harriet Tubman. Yes, that Harriet Tubman. She acquired epilepsy and vision loss after a traumatic brain injury caused by her enslavement. And look at her now, out here conducting the most well-known railroad out here in history. We've got legendary high priestess of soul, Nina Simone, who lived with bipolar. Civil rights activist Harry Belafonte had dyslexia. So did Afrofuturist Octavia Butler. Voting rights and women's rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer had polio. Who else we got? Blues legend B.B. King and hitmaker Bill Withers both stuttered. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Curtis Mayfield became paraplegic later in life. But that's ancient history, right? Okay, well, let's dig into present day disruptors. My girl Missy Elliott, who has Graves. Y'all know my boy Stevie Wonder. Solange Knowles is neurodivergent. Whoopi Goldberg has dyslexia. Gucci Mane been open about his schizophrenia. Lil Wayne got epilepsy. We got Fetty Wap with an eye condition. We got Lil Jon with an eye condition. Who else we got? Some of the amazing people I've collabed with, like Evie Oddly, who was the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. Apple the App of the Black Eyed Peas, who, like me, is low vision. Powerhouses who find and fund narrative change, like Bridget Antoinette Evans and Nikki Brown Booker. And of course, all the Black disabled visionaries I interviewed for the book, including Imani Barbarin, Lateef McLeod, Kia Brown, Raven Sutton, Wesley Hamilton, Wawa Snipe, and more. Here's the thing, Black disabled history isn't rare, it's just hidden. Because when people tell Black history, they tend to erase disability. And when they tell disability history, they tend to erase Blackness. As a Black disabled person, I find my ancestry in my Blackness that gives me my power. But I also find my ancestry in the folks who came before me, who advocated for my disability rights, my disability advocacy, and my disability inclusion. Those are also my ancestors. They're my ancestors in disability. I think about all of the things that Black folks before me, the struggles, the happiness, the pain, the love, the joy, the songs, the music that they endured and that they created in order for me to be where I am right now. To have that erased, it's like taking a piece of the wholeness that is all of me, because all of me includes my ancestry and everyone that came before me, and erasing that. I stand on the shoulders of the Black folks that have fought, died, and won for me to be here. There has been no losses. There has been struggle. There has been agony, but the spirit has not been broken. That is what I carry with me. That weight is what I carry with me. Those are the shoulders I stand on. At the very same time, there have been folks who have struggled through institutionalization, who have struggled through severe ableism, severe barriers, severe exclusion, mock and ridicule, and have decided beyond all of those odds to come together and to advocate, to find community, to find pride, and to work for an accessible world, a world in which a blind gal like me can become a trustee for the Recording Academy, where a blind gal like me can be at fancy galas, openly write her own book, get it to the biggest publisher in the world, a place where a blind gal like me can have her own fashion line of rhinestone glam canes so that other blind gals like me can feel that pride. Those are also the ancestry, the weight that I carry, the shoulder I stand on, and if erased, a big part of my whole history is erased. So there is a deep connection to all of my Black disabled ancestors, to all of my Brad Lomaxes, but also to all of my present day Black disabled family who are out here working through both of those intermixed and intermingled identities, going through the oppression that it offers, but celebrating the beauty, celebrating the intermix of pride that it offers. And this is why this is such like a special Big Dis Glossary for me, especially as a daughter of immigrants, especially as someone who was raised tomboyish, especially as someone who didn't really fit anywhere. Here I am on the other side saying, who really needs to fit anywhere? Everyone just build their own table. That's what my Black folk did, and here we are creating culture. That's what my disabled folk did, and here we are creating the most accessible and inclusive world. So a huge debt of gratitude to my Black ancestors, my disabled ancestors, and my Black disabled ancestors. Read all about everyone I mentioned, plus so many others, in my book, I Identify as Blind. It is out now. Go get it. Sit with it. Argue with it. Grow with it. Learn something. Let me know in the comments if you want more of these joyful nuggets of tiny disabled rebellion. But for now, I'm gonna let you sit with that one. Class dismissed.